It's very rare of me to talk about a manga series that is basically still new. Like, the manga series that I'm going to talk about in today's video is a series that just came out in the year 2023, and this manga series is called Maria no Danzai, or as the English translation calls it, Maria's Conviction, although there are some translations that say that it's Maria's Judgment, and I really don't know which one it is, but nonetheless, that's pretty much what the manga series is called. And ever since I finished reading chapter 1, I've been up to date with the chapters. Like, I always make sure that I'm up to date with this series because that's just how interested I am with this series and what's going to happen next. It's a story about what a mother is willing to do in order to get revenge on the people that are responsible for her son's passing. How far a person is willing to go just to enact their revenge, no matter what they have to do in order for that to happen. But before we talk about more about the revenge plot, let's talk about how this all even happened, because obviously a revenge story isn't something that just comes out of thin air. There's obviously a reason why a character chooses this path, and in this story it's actually a very tragic situation. You see, before all this revenge even happened, there was actually a really well balanced family that lived their lives just like any other ordinary family. The mother, this being Mari Nagare, really loved her family, and this was no exception to her son as well, who goes by the name of Kiritaka. It's very clear based on their couple of interactions that the son and the mother clearly had a good relationship. It didn't seem that they hated each other. In fact, it was the complete opposite. It was very clear that these two cared for one another. But there was a secret that Kiritaka was not telling his mother. In fact, this was something that has been going on for a really long time, but he never really told anybody about it and always kept it to himself, and it was the fact that he was being a victim of bullying. During school, Kiritaka would always get constantly bullied by the same group of people. These group of people consisted of 5 members who would do pretty much everything that you expect a bully to do. Calling him names, making him do embarrassing things, and of course the obvious one, some of the members of this group would beat him up daily. And all Kiritaka did in these moments is just simply endure it. He never reported anything that was happening to him, and the reason why he didn't report it was because he didn't want to make his mother worry about him. So he just let everything happen and didn't say a word to anybody. However, one day these people would take it too far, as in one night they would send him a message which contained a video that seemed to have been his mother being in some sort of an adult film. Now of course he was very quick to realize that this all could have been fabricated and that it was just a complete lie. However, these people would threaten him, telling him that if they didn't meet up to the specific location, they would send this video to a ton of people. Kiritaka obeys and meets up with these group of people, and this is where they reveal that they will delete the video and will not show it to anybody, only if he jumps from the cliff. Of course he was hesitant, but he doesn't want to make his mom suffer, so he decides to just simply obey, and he does exactly that. He jumps from the cliff. However, it was during this time that his mother was looking for him because she noticed that he wasn't around the house, but seemed to have found the location since she was tracking down his cell phone. But in these moments, she will be traumatized as she would see her son on the floor with severe injuries. However, he was actually still alive even after jumping off a cliff. This was short-lived when he was run over by a truck. However, the group of bullies were able to witness all of this happening, and of course, while some members were shocked, some were obviously panicking, they all came to the agreement that they will never talk about this and they will pretend like nothing ever happened. During the aftermath, the police investigated and just simply concluded that Mari's son ended his own life. However, she was very skeptical and did not believe that this is what actually happened. In the next few pages, we see Mari not being able to move on with her life, and that is something that is very understandable because she lost somebody that was precious to her. She lost her son that she deeply loved. However, one day when she was cleaning, she stumbled upon his diary, and after opening the first few pages, this is where we get to see that while Kiritaka never told anybody that he was being bullied, he jotted down every detail of what he was having to deal with on school on a daily basis. This diary contained very crucial information on what he had to deal with, but he also listed the names of the bullies that were always bullying him every day in school. These people were Kaase, Ajiki, Shikimi, and Kinugawa, but he states very clearly that these were just the followers. The real deal was the ringleader of this entire group, this person being Nozomu, and at that moment, this is where Mari decided that she is going to get even with these people. She is not going to stop until every one of these people of the group paid the price for what they did to her son. Some time has gone by, more specifically 2 years later, and the school that he used to go to has gotten a new nurse, and many people are talking about her, not just because of how beautiful she is, but because many people see a lot of positive things in her, and she will be nicknamed the Maria of the nurse office. And for those who are wondering how she even got this position from the school, I'm not going to go into too much detail because I'm pretty sure if I were to tell you what exactly she had to do to get this position, let's just say that she had to do some special favors for the person who was running the school. And for some people, it may seem outrageous at the fact that she was willing to do that. You have to keep in mind that revenge is in her mind the entire time. She is willing to do whatever it takes to get revenge on the people that are responsible for what happened to her son. Perfect demonstration of how low some people are willing to go just to enact their revenge. But at the same time, while Maria is only in the school to get her revenge, she is also a very caring person to the people that she sees as good people. There are several pages in this manga in which there are kids who are talking to Mari about their personal problems, and Mari just simply listens to them and tries to give them helpful advice. But at the same time, because these people really do trust her, they actually give her crucial information about the people that she is deeply interested in, and that's of course the people who were bullying her son, which just goes to show us how many eyes and ears Maria has, because no matter how confidential or how secret the information is, she is going to find out eventually, because people tell her everything because they have a lot of trust in her. So once she gets her information, that's where she proceeds to act her revenge, and this was greatly shown in her first target, and this target was Kaase. Kaase is the definition of human trash. This guy had no problems with blackmailing people by threatening them with embarrassing videos, or threatening them by saying that they will expose their secrets that they so desperately try to hide, and the only way he will be quiet about it and not expose them is if he is paid. And of course, some of these students did just that. They would pay him just so that he could keep his mouth shut. However, Kaase would get a taste of his own medicine when he gets sent an embarrassing video of him, and of course now he is being the one blackmailed. This of course leads to Kaase panicking and trying to find out who is the person that is blackmailing him. And he will soon find out, where one day when he is caught off guard, he is put to sleep and he wakes up to find himself chained up, and the person in front of him is Mari. Mari explains that he is going to die unless he gets out of the situation that he is now in. She explains that the only way to get out is to figure out the combination of the chain that he is in, and that if he doesn't figure out very quickly what it is, then he is going to die by drowning. And she reveals that he's actually going to have a time limit as the water is going to slowly increase. However, there is another option into getting himself free, and that is by using the knife that is available next to him and using it to cut his own hand off. Mari gives him a hint saying that the combination is something that represents the evil that is him, and of course that is where the game begins. As the water starts to slowly rise, Kaase clearly starts to panic very quickly as he starts to wonder if he's actually going to die in this place. And in these moments, we see the pathetic side that is Kaase. Even though he tried to act all tough when he was bullying her son, and even though he acted all tough when he was blackmailing the people that he was threatening, in these moments we see that Kaase was also a weak individual as well. He was always seeking validation from the group that he was always in, this being the bullies. He didn't want to be abandoned by them because he felt that these people were seeing something special in him, that he was somebody that was worth being around. But in reality, that wasn't the case, as at the same time, even though he was hanging around with these people, these very same people would also have no problems ridiculing him. And he states how there's no way he is going to die in that phase that he is in right now, how he's going to have a good life after all of this. However, even though he does eventually find out that the combination is the date in which Kiritaka died, there is one small issue. He forgot when that happened, just showing us how evil he truly is. In an act of desperation, since the water is already above his head, he decides to use the knife to try to chop off his own hand. But we will eventually find out that Mari had no intentions of him being alive and being able to survive this situation, as the knife that he was given was very dull, so when he tried to chop off his hand very hard, the knife broke, and as a result of this, in his final moments, all he could see is Mari smiling, showing him that she captured his final moments on her phone. And after this, Mari does a quick cleanup and gets rid of the body by burning it in a barrel. In her mind, all she can think of is who is the next target. Some time has passed and it seems that the people have noticed that Kaase has disappeared. However, despite the remaining members of the group acknowledging this, there are some that really just don't care, just showing us how there are some members of this group that never cared about Kaase in the first place. The one to make it very clear is Shikimi. Shikimi is just as bad as Kaase because she too is just a very garbage person. Shikimi had no problems luring men in hotel rooms, making them believe that she was an adult. However, this was all just a trap in order to rob them, and these men couldn't do anything about it because if they were to report it, then it wouldn't do them good, because since she's still a high schooler, this will basically be something that the police will investigate on them instead of her. Because as you all know, having an adult meet up with someone underage in private is not a good look for them, and obviously because of that, these people would never report anything that Shikimi was doing. Also, not to mention how she has an obsession with the group leader, making it even more clear how pathetic she truly is. However, this will all come crashing down as Mari would of course make sure to get revenge on her as well. Mari was very quick to find out that Shikimi did not like being alone. That's why she was always around different kinds of people, and that's why she always was in the group. So what she decided to do first is to make sure that Shikimi's relationships with the other people that were around her came crashing down. Slowly but surely, Mari's plan was a huge success. Shikimi's relationship with the other people around her would not only cause her to not trust them, but the same people would not trust her as well. But that was just only part one, because just like with Kaase, Mari decided to kidnap Shikimi, and this time she was going to do something with her that was different from what happened with Kaase. The situation that Shikimi was in this time was that she was actually being tied down, and underneath her was a well. Mari explains that if she doesn't cooperate, she has no problems cutting down the rope, and that would eventually lead to her falling down a well that is filled with insects. However, she still has the chance to be saved, and that is by giving her a chance to talk to somebody or send them a message using her phone. However, the catch is that she can only do it one time, and she has to make the phone call or message be like everything is normal. She doesn't follow these rules, then Mari is just simply going to cut down the rope, and that's going to be the end of her. Before she can even call or text somebody, Mari tells her that she accidentally dropped her SIM card in a box full of cutter knives, and she has to find the SIM card or else it's going to be too late. In an act of desperation, Shikimi does just that and uses her mouth to find her SIM card, and despite her mouth being covered with cuts, she is determined to find it in order to make her phone call or text message. And for a moment, she actually gets cocky and tells Maria if she's scared that she's going to survive this. And that is because she is able to piece together that what Mari is doing to her is the exact same thing that she did to the person that she always bullied. She was able to figure out this was Kiritaka's mother, and so the reason why she now is very confident is because if she survives this, then she can tell Okaya everything that is happening and he'll be able to do something about it. However, she comes to the realization that when she's about to message him, that she never really had a relationship with Okaya. Sure, they texted, but it's very clear that it's not really something genuine. It's almost as if he has to text her in order for her to be satisfied. So she changes plans and decides to try to message one of her lackeys, being confident that this person is going to come and rescue her, only for her to find out that this person has no intentions of coming and doesn't want to see her ever again. Of course, she is confused, but this is where Mari reveals to her that she may have something to do with this person no longer wanting to associate with her, which is not really surprising considering that she has made it very clear that she has no intentions of letting these people go. So finding out that she did whatever she could in order to make sure that Shikimi had no one left, it's not really shocking, but it does greatly show us that Mari knows what people are going to do, what are their next steps, and she always takes countermeasures for any kind of situation that may happen. Mari ridiculed Shikimi one last time, telling her how even though she felt like she had people around her, even though she tried to make sure that she was never alone, she was always alone from the start. She always found a way to make sure that she had people because she did not want to be abandoned, feeling how all this time she was just making herself the loner. and realizing this was her final moments, this is where Shikimi reveals her true colors and the kind of person she is, telling her that this is not going to be the end of it, that she is not going to be able to complete her revenge plan because once Okaya finds out everything that is happening, she is finished. Marie tells her that she is glad that Shikimi showed her what kind of person she is, and that's where Marie cuts the rope and Shikimi falls towards the well. However, she notices that the well is filled with honey, only to quickly find out that the reason why the well was filled with honey was so that the bugs can come towards Shikimi. And very quickly we see the bugs coming towards her, and some bugs even already being attached to her body. And of course Shikimi can do nothing but scream, and she's clearly in agony, but all Mari says in this whole thing is that it's too late, making it very clear that no matter how many times Shikimi screams, she is not going to be heard because she is already in the bottom of the well. And that's pretty much where the story is right now, and I really am excited as to what's going to happen in the future chapters. I'm very interested of what direction this revenge story is going to go, because it could go in any direction, and I'm also curious who is going to be the next person to be targeted. Only time will tell, but if you have not read this series, I highly recommend you read it. I did leave out some few details because I want people to read it to see for themselves what makes this series so good. And that's where I'm going to end today's video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.